Hello. Hello and welcome to the next episode of me making my dream game using lots and lots of AI tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, and generative AI for artwork and much more. Today we are at a stage where we're almost at the end of our loop. So we've gone through a lot of things, starting up our project, making our first devices that we can control as the player, adding different types of modules to the devices that we can manipulate around, implementing power consumption, power charging, collecting dust particles, generating spawning resources, collecting those resources, dumping them into an oven that now generates power. And what we're now missing is the link between generating power and the charger. So to illustrate that a little bit better from within the game, let's just start up this scene, because it's not really a game yet, and see what kind of things are happening. So we are controlling all the devices that are in the network we can take control of. For example, here, this is our vent out of which dust particles have been spawned, which we can collect as a little Roomba here that we can move around in. It has these power meters or gauges that are, when I'm moving, I consume power, but I can go to the charger here, charge up and go forward. I've been collecting dust particles. My storage is now full. I can now move to the oven here, drop it off. It is now being filled. It's now being consumed and power is being generated. And how can you see that power is being generated? Well, because there's no one actually using this power, you're just wasting the burn now, because it's just being wasted. But that's okay. The point is that currently I've set this one to, actually that's a good thing. Currently this charger is set to have infinite energy, but we're going to turn that off, because that's the main point of today. Is if we go to our charger device, then to our power module, and we're going to say you don't have infinite power, meaning that at some point you will not be able to charge yourself anymore. Maybe one other thing that I wanted to do actually before I start is to duplicate my little Roomba, because that also kind of shows what the point is of switching between devices. There you go. I want to put one here and another one right there. We're gonna start the game again. And so basically the point of this game is you're playing as an AI piece of software that wants to go viral. It wants to start controlling more and more devices, because if one of the devices that it is controlling goes down, you basically die and you don't stop existing. You can see multiple Roombas here, but I can take control of different Roombas. And let's say, oh, the charge is up, I'm gonna go back to the station. Oh, they're still interacting with each other. And while that's charging, I can take control of another one. But I see that they're still interacting with each other, which ideally, this can lead to some cool things. But in this case, I would want that I can at least overtake each other. However, right now, you see that I've completely used up all of the charge available in the charger. And if at some point I can no longer recharge any of my devices, the game is over, because then basically my program stops running and you as an AI ceases to exist. But we just showed that we have a lot of power here in our power generator, so we need to find a way to transfer that power over there. And now, while in most of the code that we have been writing, that has been solved by using modules that just transfer things from one module to another within the same device or to another device. But here, these two things, and that was usually by moving like the Roomba into a certain position, like moving it into the charging zone or moving it into the transfer zone. Obviously, these two things, they can't move because I can't take control of them, but I can move them closer to each other. So there has to be a way for these two things to become connected without them being close to each other. And specifically when it comes to power, we're gonna need wires. I mean, I'm guessing there's already some kind of wireless charging technologies, but that's not really what I'm going for here. I want to implement some kind of power infrastructure that uses wires. Now, all up until this phase, I kind of knew how to, well, I found a way to do this with the moving around because that's what most tutorials show you. But this time, with the wires connecting and how I'm going to implement that, I'm going to have to make use of ChatGPT or the internet or some other stuff to how is that best implemented. So yeah, I'm just going to start out by opening up ChatGPT and explain what I want to achieve here and see what it does. I mean, like, my first off the top of my head, obviously I would want, like, let's see what happens if I click left. It's a 2D object, although is it really 2D because it's a wire, so you could say it's almost a one-dimensional thing. How do I implement one-dimensional lines, and how do I define the ends of that and when they interact with certain devices to say, oh, you're now connected? Do I need to introduce some modules that say, oh, you are connected to each other so you can exchange energy? But it's not really immediately obvious to me how we'll do this. I mean, you could say like this is a wire and I scale it like, oh, that's the wrong side actually. So right, that would be like saying, okay, now I have a wire. Why are you not even showing up, by the way? Probably because you're in front of player, right? Okay, we could say, hey, this is a wire, right? And if the ends of this is touching one of the devices and they are now connected, but that's not necessarily true because it's not because a wire is passing through, because I might want to connect something even more to the left. Well, it doesn't mean that it needs to be connected to this one. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, I'm gonna tell it what I want to do in which program and see what it comes up with. It should find like some common patterns that have been used before. That's what it's trained on. One other thing here, I see that I have like another issue here with my fill amount. Again, this is a bug that's been coming back, but apparently I never have this bug if I only have one Roomba. So that's interesting to keep in my head. If at some point I come to a point where I want to fix that, let's keep in mind that I only had that issue I only ever have that issue when I have multiple Roombas, not necessarily multiple devices, because I've had multiple devices before, but that's interesting. In any case, that's not really that relevant. I'm also gonna go back and delete my first and second Roomba. Oh, they should be on the tag device. Let's just quickly add a layer here, saying player. And we learned before how we could prevent things from interacting. So a Roomba is no longer, if a Roomba is a player, yes, no, just this object only, because I have zones. Oh, the player is now starting to interact again with other things. All right, so let's go to. Oh, that's also again. I was editing stuff in the play mode, which I shouldn't do because things don't get not saved. All right. So you are now a player object. Just this object. Same with you. You can see when I do that, they start interacting with the dust, which was the original issue that we had, why we wanted to fix that. I think it's here somewhere. Project settings, we need to go to the physics matrix. There you go. Player. Right now, I don't want player to interact with anything. Do I? Oh no, it does have to interact with the floor. That's important. Let's just not have it interact with itself, not with resources, and not with anything else on the default. Let's see if that's enough to have them be able to pass each other. One other thing in terms of casting that I noticed last time is you will see that, yes, I can now pass through, but you see that there's some issues with layers here because some of the layers, and it's the same here. Oh, there you go. I couldn't charge anymore. Oh, see, and now I'm interacting with the background, so I still need to fix that. Properties, no, not properties, project settings. I should also not interact with the background. There you go. And now I should be able to move around the world without bumping into each other, but my zones, which are on another level, should still be able to interact with one another. Right, let's see. Yeah, so that still works, that's fine. Okay, great. But you see that there's still a lot of issues with certain parts of the devices being on different sorting levels, but this is currently not that big of a deal, especially not just to get things working onto the first prototype of the game here. What's this? Oh yeah, this is my, right, that's my sprite for the AI itself. So this is you actually, this is the player, and it jumps around from device to device by moving through the network and basically planting itself into the computer of each of those devices. Yeah, that's kind of what we are. Alright, let's go and talk with ChatGPT. Let's start a new prompt here. I'm gonna give a little bit of explanation of how my game works, but maybe I'll start a little basic. Maybe I won't tell too much about how my game works. I'll just say I'm making a game in Unity using C#. I have, okay, maybe I do need to explain it. I have multiple device objects in the scene. I want to connect some of them using wires. How can I implement wires that can be connected to devices and transfer power between them? It's a bit of a stretch here because obviously there's not a lot of stuff to go off, like there's a lot already done in the code, and ChatGPT here does not know any of this, so it might actually be better to open Copilot and ask Copilot because it has access to some of the code. Let's see what it comes up here. So define a device, that's done, but add connection, yeah, so indeed. Yeah, making a list of connections. So basically every device, the devices itself will have a list of other devices that it is connected to, and we'll have to make some sub lists, different lists, because being connected by a power line is different than being connected by an Ethernet cable. It's being different from being connected by maybe some liquid pipes in the future or whatnot. So but it is maybe good to kind of make a abstract class called not wires but connections, and then you have a wire connection, you have a pipe connection, you have whatever other types of connections, because in types of, yeah, there's going to be a lot of common stuff there as well. For each wire in connections, oh yeah, you just put the, that's true though, like it doesn't actually, I can just say the wire is connected, it doesn't even need to be there physically, like we can just say it's connected, and then wherever it is rendered is a whole other thing. So basically, yeah, then they make a class called wire, and oh yeah, a device is connected to a wire, and a wire is connected to devices. How many things could be connected to one wire? That's a good question. I mean, in terms of power, you can, I don't think, well, maybe there's a limit at some point, but it shouldn't be limited to just one. Or should I make something like, I'm thinking about like the game Oxygen Not Included, where there's a lot of this stuff going on with power wires, also pipes and stuff, and I'm trying to think of how they do it there. So there, a connection is made by just, sorry, a power wire is just in the background, and whatever building you place on top of it is connected, and you can basically connect infinite amount of devices, right, to one and the same wire. A wire there consists out of different segments though, because that world is like all, so it's like all tiles, so it's all square tiles, blocks. The world is composed of blocks. I don't know if I really want that here. On the other hand, in the future I also want to implement mining and like removing terrain. I need to kind of also think about that. Like, do I want my world to be a tile-based scene, but then you're kind of stuck with the square shapes? It's a bit trickier to then implement smooth curves, because I also want it to be very organic in terms of like when you move around the world and you're driving, where you can just like slopes up and down, and I don't want it to be like just blocks. And on the other hand, I do like the messiness of having to like draw a lot of different cables and organizing your cables, because if you can do just one cable and you connect everything with, there's no organization necessary, which can be a quality of life issue though, like people might hate that. Just a reminder, like this episode is going to be, I think, a lot of thinking more so than coding, maybe at least the start of it. So I'm kind of showing how I go through that process and how I use ChatGPT to get some ideas. Right, so how do they do it again here? So the device is connected to wires, a wire is connected to devices, but in this case it's only ever connected to two devices, and one end and the other end. Connect, right? And a wire manager. Again, we're going to need a manager, that's true, because we already have a network manager. So we're going to have a wire manager, that makes sense though. Create a wire. So you're creating wires. Okay, object, wire, connect. Of course, this kind of implies that you can't create wires if you're not actually connecting them to anything. I see myself honestly like with your mouse, like clicking this and then there's a wire coming out, and then you click this and then you connect it. But again, you can't actually do that if you're not in control of a robot that is capable of manipulating that wire. So in theory, you would suddenly have control of a robot with arms, for example, and you would have to walk over here, click it, walk over there, and connect it. And at some point, I think I want to implement more like an automation where you can blueprint your wires, and then if you have a robot that knows how to do that, it will do it automatically, so you don't have to do that continuously. Okay, so wire manager, power source, it's a device, wire renderer. So ChatGPT does propose to do like the visual representation completely separate from the actual connections. So theoretically, you could say you are now connected to you using by a wire, but there's no actual visual representation of that, which is actually fine. And then the visual rendering of that wire is taken care of after the fact, which is maybe a good idea. Line renderer. I don't know how. Is that like a real thing? A line renderer? Can I? Line render? Oh, that is a thing. Wow. Huh. That's interesting. That's better than what I was just doing with like just drawing the square, because where did I just add that to? Let's just remove this component again. Let's just play around, but I'm gonna do create empty wire, add component, wire renderer. Oh, no, not wire, line renderer. Scene tools, input. Oh, mouse position. What? Whoa. Ah, that's cool. Look at that. I haven't almost done anything, and stuff is happening. Physics ray cost. What's this at? What does that mean? This seems to be working to some extent. Is there like oh, here, positions. Oh, there it is. Cool. Can I delete all of them? No. Delete selected. Yes. So we have a line renderer now. Where? Sorting layer. There you go. Foreground. Still not seeing it on this part though. Alignment, position count to start with, end with. Yeah, that's basically. Oh, it's like, oh, that's cool. Okay, so it just sets its position, no, the amount of positions too, and it sets the positions at, it probably will use the device's location, right? Yeah, there you go. Now this would be good just to start off with. I'm not really have to consider like creating the wires and building the wires, it's just that the wire is there. Creating wires is something for in the future, but I just wanted to make sure that if I'm implementing something that it would be at least possible in the future to make it something creatable. But given that I have all these lists of positions, it seems to be quite easy, feasible to then implement like where do you want this to go, because then if you want to organize things around, you will go like, oh, okay, now I want to go under the ground and connect it here, things like that. actually right now the cable should just go underground. Something like that. That's pretty neat how this already exists actually. Texture. Stretch. Oops. Okay. The only thing that I want to change, that I don't want to add, is that it doesn't. I will add a module or a submodule to the power that says that puts like the position of the connection points, so that it just doesn't go to the middle of the thing. There's like connection points. Should I make that a different module? Well, it will probably have a different sprite as well. But I do have to link it to the power module. Although again, it's good to have it as a different module because that connection can then be used for other things, not just power. And then you do decide what that connection is for. Okay, so again, we need to add to a device a list of connected devices. Do I actually want to store that information in the device that it's connected to, or do I store that state in the wire manager? I think it's good that a device kind of knows what it is connected to, even though in real life that's not really the case, right? Like if you connect two things via a power cable, those instruments don't actually really know about each other. One is just taking from the cable. Because we could say like, alright, let's say that this thing is producing power, and then they say, oh, this wants power, and they're connected, and then they kind of pretend like there is no wire, they just know we're connected, and then they transfer. Or you could say, look, there is a certain amount of power in this cable, and that's all this thing needs to know is the power in the cable. Wherever that comes from, it doesn't really care about that. And the only problem is that so your power wire kind of knows I have this much amps, I guess, right? At some point you need to say there's this many amps in my cable, and I'm gonna take this many amps from that, so there's still that much left. Especially if you're gonna start, because that's the thing, if you're gonna start like adding more than one power generator to the same cable, it will be a mess for this thing to figure out all of these things that it is connected to. While it's much easier for this thing to just look at the cable and say, oh look, I have this cable, there's power coming out of it, I need this much, there is that much, and I'll just take it. So when it comes to power cables, just like in real life, I don't think the device should actually care what it is connected to other than the cable. It doesn't care what other things are connected to that cable. And the wire itself will have all the information about how much power is running through it. And I think that will also make it much easier in the future to say like, oh, there's too much draw on this cable, like there's too much power going through this cable, or there's a limit. So a power wire shall be its own thing. And you either are providing power to the cable or drawing power from the cable. Yeah, I think that's how I'll do it. Meaning that a wire has more than one device connected to it though, especially the power wires. Yes. So we will start by making a wire class which has a list of devices connected to them. Also the positions of those connections based on a very particularly small module on those devices that has a small sprite of the connection, and then the renderer will be rendering a line from those positions to those positions. And honestly, I think right now I will just draw straight lines from point to point. Let's not care about where those lines go. Let's just visualize them as straight lines from point to point. And it will be up to the player in the future on how to actually build these lines. Because I also need to make it feasible to do this within an episode, right? And we're already half an hour in. Alright, that's how I'll do it. So this has a line renderer. That's one thing that it has, and we're going to keep that, although we are going to remove all but two positions. So the first and the last. There we go. So we just have a straight line. I also want a fixed. Can I reset this? Delete key. Can I delete all keys? Yes. Delete all the keys. Come on. Let's make it a little bit smaller. All right. That's one thing. Then we have a script with the wire class, and this is not a device, so we'll create a new folder with, I will call them connections. And then this script is going to be a wire connection. Actually, let's do a parent class, and then connection. Oh, why are you doing that? Connection power, which is basically a wire, right? But I want to keep the names a bit like closer related to each other. We're going to add that script to that, so we're not going to be creating the wire renderer, but we do need access to it, so we're gonna make a field for that. Okay, good. Thanks, ChatGPT. That gave me some nice information to start off with. We're gonna go to connections, connection. We're gonna go here and we're gonna say extends. Oh, yeah, that connection. A connection by itself has a few things, right? As I said, a connection has just wondering if I should use the word connection for the part on the device to which the wire connects to. That's the actual connection, like the node. Connection node. Connection point. Serialized fields, a list, let's quickly go to ChatGPT. What would be a good word, general word for wires, pipes, ducts, any linear let's just ask it. Conduits, that's a bit extreme, but channel to conduit. I mean, it's not that bad though. I'm okay with that. Conduit. A wire is a type of conduit. Conduit, is that how you pronounce that? Let's delete these things again. Let's rename the folder. This takes so long. Why? Rename conduits. And then we say conduit. It's gotta be so annoying having to say that word all the time. And then we have a power conduit, which is a wire. And the connection is the thing that the conduit is connected to. So I think I like that better. All right, let's open up these scripts. Lists of device module connection or port. I know you don't exist though. I do think I want to like that a connection is just a part of a module, like the power module just has a connection, just to make it a bit simple, because if I'm gonna make that a separate module then I have to connect those things again and that might be a little bit too much overhead. So let's just start by saying it's device module. Crazy here, the console logs. Especially because the power conduit basically could theoretically just hold a list of power modules that are connected with each other. Which is actually that this works, right? Do I just need to override it? I can add a power module to this thing. Right? If I would, in addition, go for serialized fields, just to like now go into the manager, I could already connect two things here. And I should open up the charger and the burner. Yes, so this power, this module and this module, I need to add them here. So does that work? Wait, oh, there you go, connections. New connection. Does that work? That's not how that works. It has to be the script, right? I can't actually do that. Because these are game objects. I can't drag and drop components from, right? Can I? Is there a way to do that? Can you drag and drop components to serialized fields? But I can't see the components of another object while in the inspector of the game object where the reference needs to be dragged in. Guess that's just a bit of a silly inspector lock. There's a lock here, sure, but I still don't see components. Wait, what am I saying? Oh, no. It's a list of connections of device modules. This is a device module. I should be able to drag that in there. Although, yes and no. This is not a... No, it's not true. This is a component. The component that I'm trying to drag is a class Let me try one more thing though. If I change this to this, will it accept it then? Because maybe it needs to be very specific. No. Oh. That's the distinction between game objects and component classes as components. They don't seem to be the same thing in my case. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. In any case, let's just do it then automatically, I guess. Yeah. That's true though, like maybe I should just work with game objects. And that should make it maybe a lot easier than to always have to look for it. But then I will have to go always deep into the layered structure to find the actual thing. Because now I can indeed say, oh, it's this thing. I can't. What's your problem now? Oh wait, what? There's something wrong with the script? Oh, was that one of the stupid reasons? Really? Oh. Okay, device module. There was something wrong with the script. Let's try it one more time with device modules, because that would be nice. It would be cool if I can just drag the game object onto it and then it kind of figures out, well, device module, and then I just do this. Yeah, that works. Jesus. Right, so this wire connects you and you. There you go. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's actually a good idea to already work on my superclass. Maybe I should just make I should just make this first, make it work, and then see if I can extend it later in a refactoring step. I will already call it out to be an extension of Conduit, but that's about it. Right, so when you start, or actually when you start, you don't need to do anything because I already manually connected it. And this time I will stick to the manual connections because I don't want to bother having a whole bunch of code just to connect to things specifically, while that's something that's going to be set by the user anyway, or by the player, not by code. Unless you're building worlds, like when you're making levels. But again, that's gonna be something else. Again, here we're gonna have to decide which one is the one sending out power and which one is the one taking power. And I guess again that's maybe a good reason as to why making use of these, again we have these transfer zone in, transfer zone out, charging in, charging out, maybe the same as for this. Let's go to the code of our power module, and that's the thing, the power module is already getting a bit way too big. That's why maybe having a submodule of a connection and saying like connection in, connection out. Let's make a class here. Like our zones. But I wouldn't use, because I'm not going to use collisions for this. So that's a big difference, because it's not based on what's moving into what, it's an actual connection. So that's why we can make it something different. We're going to make a script called conduit connection. Let's call it just connection. That should be simple. Meaning that, and the reason why I'm doing that is instead of being this a list of, it's a list of connections now. And the reason is because a connection itself can be of a certain type. Yeah, sure, you have a reference to the thing you're connected to. That's good. Well, yes. You could say public enum connection type hopper data flow. Yeah, that's good. And serialized fields. No. Conduit type. Connection type, sorry. And this will be the basis for everything I do in terms of infrastructure, from connecting wires, internet cables, pipes, conduits, maybe even roads, rails. Like, this should be that basis of like connecting things, and then things can transfer from one thing to another through these connections. Anything that cannot be done that isn't done like physically by devices interacting with each other directly or wirelessly. As a connection type, I would say it's more of a conduit. It doesn't really matter which one it is, theoretically. And then there's another certain type, public enum connection. Oh my god, look at this. It's exactly what I wanted. Input, output, or bidirectional. Look at that. Man, I love when it auto-completes exactly what I'm thinking. They say that mind reading is a myth, but it's not mind reading obviously, but it's really good at that. It's an input, it's an output, or it's bidirectional. I don't know if bidirectional is necessary right now, but I think like in terms of fluids, like usually it's bidirectional. You need pressure to kind of fix that. I guess with power it's the same though. It depends on your voltage, how much the voltage is on either side, I guess. Can I think of anything that's bidirectional that will be useful in this case? Let's just keep it simple. And also let's remove anything that I don't need right now. Right. When does a connection need to update anything? Void connect. Void disconnect. And if you connect, you will be given it a conduit. No, because the connection itself kind of decides, right? A connection, one connection is always only connected ever to one wire. right? Yeah. This conduit is conduit. But also you need to remove the connection from the conduit. So if we go back to the conduit is void connect, void disconnect. There you go. And we need to call it conduit dot disconnect. Wait, why do you not see this? Oh, because it's a yeah, because I'm already specializing too much. Okay, I do want to go back to the idea of doing it more generally. And then we will basically have a void update power Can you go for a resistance here? Do I even want to make it that complicated? I don't know. What is the relationship between amperage and kilowatts actually? I want to ask that. What is the relation between kilowatts and amperage? Is it quite direct? Power, voltage times current. Okay. I'm not saying I want to make it this complicated though. Just say like the wire is right. Don't want to deal with that. We're just gonna say serialized field power, and that's it. No, power and kilowatts. Update power. You will have a list of not connections. The connections is dealt with on the conduit. You will have a list of device module power. Hey, that's what I meant. Connected power modules. And there's two types though. There's the ones that give power, connected power pushers, connected power pullers. I need to be careful with my terminology, but your push and pull, draw, and what would be the opposite of a power drawer? Generator? Well, actually, that's kind of what we do though. Okay, power drawers, power generators. And actually that's exactly what it's called. Well, update power. Do they have, what do these things have? They have a certain amount of charge, but how much do they actually provide? Power generation, power charge. That's internally, right? So maybe that should be on the level of the connection. Make it a bit simpler. The connector decides how much power can be pushed and drawn. And it does that until it's empty. Because we have this thing of, we should just add, the thing is that this is a bit too specific, because the cable becomes also a power drawing thing. So I think maybe I should at some point make some kind of an interface that many things can implement as long as they are capable of drawing power. And then I don't have to use all these different methods of generating power, because this is too specific. Like, I can only add device modules, but now I'm trying to implement cables, and the cables are drawing power, even though downstream it's another device. But I wanted to kind of separate those concerns such that the device drawing from the power line does not need to know anything about how many generators are connected. It just knows this power line has power, and that's it. I mean, in theory, I could also just make a wire a device, and a wire is just a device that has one module being the conduit module. And then everything is kind of much more interchangeable. And I can't take control of a wire because it doesn't have a computer module. It's that simple, right? That's kind of the whole point of these things, isn't it? Because even like they have these you know, these gauges, maybe they should also just be devices. Not right now, but because they're now sub modules and they're UI elements though, but are they? Would make things much more simpler from an abstract point of view. A wire is just a device that has a conduit module, meaning I can also again have it added to the list of power drawers. I can add it to the list of power, and the same is true for the other thing I just made, right? See, so the power charging device modules should be also device modules. The difference though is like the wires is a whole different type. It can be built, it can be, well, devices also can be built, it can also be placed somewhere. It's just different. Same but different. And this is tricky. Yeah, thinking. On the one side, I want to make them just devices, to make them just like anything else. On the other hand, I feel like all the conduits, like pipes and things, and are fundamentally different from these devices. Because they connect devices and they just transfer things. On the other hand, the only reason why I have to think about it is because the way my power drawing is implemented right now is just based on devices. But if I would just have other ways of implementing that, then it wouldn't be so limited to only devices, and then I wouldn't have to make a conduit so akin to a device. Because I can also, that's why I did the add charge thing, because the generator wasn't a power module. And then I just added a function to do it in another way. Same with the chargers. Let's think about power draw, because I also need to kind of, within a wire, I need to know how much power is being pushed into the wire, how much power is being drawn from the wire. Those are two elements. And then I just need to make sure that when there is power draw, that there's enough power generation, but also that that power is being subtracted from the device. let's go to okay. I think I might have a way to kind of fix it. It's a big word, but if I go ahead and make the connections an actual module, then they can become part of the power drawing module, right? And then I can add functional draw to them, which already exists. So I think that's what I'll do. So, okay. We need a new module called a connection. Meaning that a connection. Now I should just move this script because it has become. Did I already do stuff there? That's important. I'd like to rename it to device module connection. Device module connector. Rename just to copy paste. Device module connector. It extends device module. No. Why is that so hard? We got one of these modules here, generator. Right, sorry, I stopped talking. So I moved to make, I think I can get rid of all of this now. To make a connector, a type of module that you attach to it. And it's actually not that bad, because also from a visual point of view, you can then actually see it's a small sprite. We should maybe even go to Illustrator and make that type of connector. So you are a connector. You are a connector. Module type, a connector module. Yes, well, two conduits. It has some draw, although I need to take care, like, I don't know if it's like a pipe connection, it's not really drawing anything, but whatever, that's not a problem. I would say connected conduit. This dot connected conduit, this dot yes. Okay, on initialization. Right. Let me quickly close everything again, just so I can start fresh. Alright, let's go to Illustrator for a second. Sci-fi future power connection port. It should be like the size of we'll already duplicate the computer again, I guess, because the computer is pretty simple. It also has already the size of what I expect the connector to be, so that's also good. In the meantime, it's generating a plug. It looks nice already, so that's good. So let's go to the burner. Let's duplicate you. Let's rename as device module connector. We need to remove. Where? Oh, this is still locked, that's why. We will remove this script. We will add this script. No, that's computer. Is this connector? It's also. Where's the connection? Oh no. Oh, wait. Remove component. Where's the connector? Come on. Just show me the list. Like, I don't need to see it. Like, there's no point in that. How do I change the view here? Oh, this probably? Yes. I think this doesn't exist anymore. Let's remove it. Good. Let's first add the sprite to it, then make a prefab out of it, and also add it to the charger. Let's go back to Illustrator. It came up with some nifty stuff here. This looks cool. This looks a bit strange. Maybe one of these. I think the first one looks, well, not that one. I think this looks fine. Let me just extract it. Get rid of that outside part, because that's a bit strange, isn't it? Yeah. You can. There we go. Let's check this one. This one for some reason has like this bottom part. What looks coolest? Maybe I should take the thing that has the biggest contrast, although it's not really. I'm gonna go for this one. Right. Let's make it a certain size that it kind of looks like a nice connection. The computer is up the front, but that's okay. I can add it to the side here. That looks fine. That's cool. Alright, let's make a artboard. Let's call it connector. I should maybe... But do I need to know what is in and out? Well, not yet. That's not bother. Alright. It's done. Get the artwork. And exports. Clear selection. Connector. Boom, 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 boom. Repositories. Games. Assets. Sprites? Yes. Good. So the sprite is here, is now the computer chip, but I want to exchange it for the connector. Ah, did you move again? Seriously. There you go. So let's put it down there. That's our connector. Our wire should then connect to that, to the location of the connector. Okay, I think it still might be the best idea for long term, but right now just making the connector a device module will kind of simplify things. That's the thing that's going to draw the power, and then it will implement however the wire works in whatever way it wants to, but at least there I can set it, and then I don't have to worry about anything else. It's basically literally an adapter, which is what it is in effect. All right, good. Clear, clear, clear. No, that error remains. So let's go fix it. Conduit. Yeah, that doesn't work, right? So it's a device module. These names are becoming a little bit like meh, too long. And I know at some point in the streams I said I always like to keep only 2 words. So the device should be removed from this in the future. It will be a module connector or a connector module to make, because this is just not really. All right, connect, remove connection. There we go. That should fix those errors. There you go. What is it? What is it? Never used. Yes. And so, all right, a conduit now has a list of connections. Actually, we should just call it connectors. There we go. Then if you go to that connector itself, when that connects to a conduit, it says that this connected conduit is a conduit, disconnected conduit is null, because there's always only ever one cable connected to one port. That makes sense. So it's a one to many. Yeah, so many ports to one wire, but only one wire to one connector. Good. When do we make this connection? Again, as I said, we'll do this manually at this point. So let's maybe just go back here and make sure that they are bidirectionally connected. Which is actually, that's the problem with doing it manually. Like, see here, the wire doesn't have the connectors. That's one of them. Even though the connector itself has it. No, see, it also doesn't have the conduit. And then the same for, oh yeah, so now I need to make this into a prefab, so then I can also add it as a original prefab, and I can move it onto the charger, which now also has it. There you go. And let's attach it here or at the bottom here. I don't know. See, the charger I actually don't like. I wanted to change that sprite because it has too much perspective. it doesn't fit, but we'll fix that another time. That's it. No, sorry, that was not it. So now that connector also needs a reference to that same conduit, but then I also need to, in the wire, put the one for the charger in the second position. And now everything's connected manually, right? So I don't have to do it programmatically. Because it's too difficult to do it programmatically, I would say. What I would say is that on start, no, not on start, when the module is initialized, no, the wire itself should set its points position to those connectors. I will quickly test that. So I will first do serialize fields, and I want a reference to a line renderer. And on start, just go and get it. Yes, because that's already positioned. And then on update, I want to line renderer points. The components are already set at the beginning though. So we should theoretically be able to say connectors.count. Perfect, that's perfect. Yes, this should work. If I press start, and actually it will be easiest if I first do something completely random with this line. Actually, how does that, what does that look like? How does that thing move around? That wire, that line? Well, not at all. You can't move it. Is that true? Yeah, you can move it, but it won't change anything about like the lines points. Which makes sense. Like, there's nothing there that makes that thing. So what I want to do is in the line renderer itself. Oh, can I can just also do this. I wanted to, can I edit it like this? Oh. That's not how that works. Huh. Loop, no. Edit points in the scene view, that's what I'm trying to do. It doesn't seem to work. Oh, I need to select it for it. Okay, so basically what I wanted to do is do this, and when we press start, they should connect, and that's gonna be really cool if that works. Why is it not rendering? Oh, it's still not in the foreground. It didn't work anyway, but it is in the foreground. It's actually not rendering. It's probably because it doesn't have like a sprite or something, even though it has a color. Let's put it all the way on top. But that purple part is nothing. Materials, can I select something really stupid? Oh, hi. It's still not rendering in the world though. Is it thick enough? Yeah, I mean it's super thick. So like, whatever. Use world space, yes. What? Sprites default? Yeah, sure, like, just give me... Oh! There's another reason why it's not showing over there. Because this is insane, this should just work. X, these are all correct. Layer, default. Put it on player layer? No, default is fine. Oh, what if I turn this off? Okay, I'm gonna ask my line from line renderer is only showing in the scene view, but not in the game view. Camera calling masks. Line width, materials in color. Alpha. Why is it not showing? Connectors.eye, transform.position. Let's just try that again. It's not showing on here. You can see the line here, but it's not showing here. I don't know why. But in any case, it's not actually changing any of its positions also. Oh, the Z value is on -10. Yes, that's the reason of the points. Okay, so that's fixed. But it didn't actually fix the points. Didn't do that. Why did you not do that? Is everything correctly referenced? Yes. The question is, should it actually happen on start? Because maybe the connectors aren't actually initialized. Well, no, I am only accessing their transform.position, so they should be fine. Let's loop. Let's debug this. Debug. Yeah, let's go. Let's show me what you got. Oh, I screwed that up already. Because I changed things when they were not in the view. Also, there was like, you should always put them at 0 anyway. Yeah, that's working. Right, test it again. We have our line. It's pretty cool that there's this line runner thing, because I think that takes care of a lot of stuff that I don't need to worry about. I already know what's going on. Yeah, I'm not calling any of this. No, it's not super, it's base. Idiot. Sorry. And I need to override... what's that stuff called again? So I need to make them public virtual, I think. Public virtual void, yeah. Public virtual void start. Public virtual void. Public virtual void. There you go. What's your problem now? Ah. didn't copy the void. And then in all of these things, it's called public override void. Why public though? That's actually important. Okay, this should work. It's the danger of superclasses. Come on, connect. Yeah. Nice. I have a wire, which is connecting two ports. That's cool. Man, it took me a long time to think about this, but okay, this is nice. It doesn't really bother me as well. Like I can move along and it's not interacting with my Roomba. Okay. Oh, and I'm dead. I need to fix with the numbers, but again. Okay, so that's nice. We can connect things. Now, the wire needs to have basically the conduit wire. That's it. On the power conduit, I have these settings, so I can say update power generation, and you should just loop through. There you go. That's all I need. It's not power generation though. It is something called draw. Current power draw. Look at that. I have that. That's amazing. Does that work? I don't think that works though. Get current power. No. For each. No. It's just connected by. Yes. We have to be careful because this term generator does not stand for a generator module. There's other things that can be generators, like the power modules themselves. And in fact, they are. So that's why I don't like the word power generators. So power drawers, power givers, it's a stupid word, but okay, I'm gonna still go for pull and push. I don't know. Power pushers. Pullers. Power pushers. Because otherwise I'm gonna be confused that a generator, not all generators are generators. Update power push. Right, power pushers dot power output, that doesn't exist, but I do have current power draw. Why do I have access to that? I shouldn't have access to that. Is that a public thing? Public. Should I have access to that? Well, apparently I do. It's not the best thing. When the refactoring gets here, I will fix it. But let's just get things to work. And this is hopefully the last episode where I say that, because after this, I have closed the loop, and then I will spend the next episode on refactoring loads and loads of stuff, including a lot of these names here. Anyway, so you obviously know what to do now. Void update power pull. There we go. When do we do that? Let's do it on every update for now. Yeah, update power pull, update power push. So basically you just go over anything that's connected. Connected power pullers, yes, that's fine. We have their draw, and now it's up to the connector. Oh yeah, so the power draw, it's doing that of device module power conduit. See, but that's a mistake though. There's a mistake here. These are not device module powers. These are device module connectors. Because I'm connected to the, all right. Still, connectors have also power draw, because everything has power draw. And I can increase that by adding functional power draw. I have to quickly search in my code, functional power draw. That's a device module thing, so that's pretty cool. So I can add functional power draw, and I need a just like add, I give it a title and a number. So just to test this, the conduits, sorry, a power conduit, update power push, and now update functional power draw. Yeah, you did that wrong because I made a mistake. Let's void for each power puller in connected, say power puller dot functional power. I don't, that's not how that works though. It's add functional power draw like that. And yeah, this is supposed to be how it works. But it has to be minus. Oh no, that's not true. The functional power draw of the conduit itself it's the other way around even. The power pullers. Oh yeah, no, that's a bit. So this will only work if I have if it's a one-to-one connection. Because I'm not like, because I will draw everywhere. There's, at some point, because the wire will now pull on every machine the same draw, so it will be multiplying. So adding multiple power generators to the wire doesn't actually work because it's not being pulled. Because that becomes the question. If I have multiple power generators connected, where do I get the power from? Oh, from all of them equally. Just divided by the number of power pullers. That's actually not that bad. Power. But I actually currently I only need to take care of. So for each power pusher, add a functional power draw called wire draw. And it needs to be the value of power draw. That's not so intuitive. I understand why it wouldn't be able to do that, but divided by, yes, the count. So you divide it amongst everyone. That makes sense. That's kind of how I pull it. Why do you not know what power draw is though? It's power pull, sorry. Two wires. Let's just call it 2 wires. And do I understand that if I add something with the same key that I just updated? Yes, correct. That's good. That makes it much easier. That's the reason why I made that function. The only thing now is that I'm adding that functional power draw to the connector. But that's fine because the connector is already in the system automatically. So theoretically, this should already work. How can I test this? That's a good question. I should have an on and off switch here so that I can test whether it works. So let's go serialize field bool. Well, I can disconnect them. Wire is turned on. Well, we start with true. No, let's start with false. If that's not what I wanted. Jesus. If you're not turned on, don't do it. Don't. Oh, actually, sorry. And I would even have to say it has to be 0. Which means that even if there's draw, it has to be 0 still, because it's not working. But I also need to be very careful. Oh, no, sorry. It needs to be like this. Right, so like that. And 0. You can move this because I put it inside the loop. That's fine. So if it's not turned on, it will not draw power. So I want to like turn it on and off and see if I see some. Basically, I will need to see one. They're both gonna go down, but that one the charger should go down faster if I start charging, and then if I turn on the wire, power from the thingy should disappear. But it will not go anywhere yet. That's the thing. I'm not charging actually the charger. So we also need to, for each power puller, I think we should just start charging them. Or we do a negative power draw. That's also possible. For each. Does that work? Let's try this first. The reason is I can always work with negative numbers. Charging is just negative draw, which might actually not be that bad in the end. Right, let's see. I do want to go to the wire and say you are not turned on. Good. I could also say never mind. I was gonna say like turning on and off is basically also disconnecting the wires, but it's fine. Okay, so theoretically, what's happening now is still all correct. I'm collecting, charging. Am I not charging? Why am I not charging? Why is charging not working? Is the charger a charger? It is a charger. Why are you not charging? Didn't this used to work before? I didn't touch any of that stuff, right? Why is it not charging? As a matter of fact, let's just... There's still a charging zone. Save the scene just for a moment. touch that code in like ages. Why would it suddenly not charge anymore? Does the other part work on the other side? That seems to be working, so that's fine. Okay, so now I should go to the wire and turn the wire on, and I should see nothing. Well, I should not. Okay. Because because there's still fuel in there, so which is probably more than. Okay, a lot of stuff is going wrong. Let's just check first, because maybe something went wrong here. Is the charging zone still in the correct zone? Where should the zones be? It's a good question. Were zones all supposed to be in the... I think I maybe screwed up the 2D interaction matrix. Let's go to charging zone. Am I seeing you? Charging zone is triggered. That's the first question. Because if that's not being called, then nothing's gonna happen, obviously. Bugs everywhere. Always bugs. Yeah, there you go. It's not even being triggered. So there's an issue. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an issue here. Default is no longer interacting with the player. That's the problem. But the reason why I did that is so that the player wouldn't bump into that. But I should just, okay, so I should just make a layer for zones. Is that true? No, because it also tries to detect devices. Let's go for zones first. Let's just do that. And a charging zone, you should be on the zones layer. So should you. And the zones and players should interact. That's what it's supposed to be. The same goes for transfer zones. Where are the transfer zones? They should be on the resource. But the charger doesn't have that. Yeah, the burner should have that. We should have both in and out zones. You're on the resource layer. We should be on the zones layer right now. Gonna have to do that separately, I'm sure. Yes. But zones and resources should definitely interact with each other. And so do zones and players. And that's kind of the thing that needs to happen. The same for you, Roomba. You are a player, but your zones should be on the zones layer. Good. And then we go back here. Is the vent also a player? No, this object only. The burner is also the player though. Object only. If I go to edit project settings, zones and players should definitely interact. Zones and zones as well. But zones and floors, zones and resources, yes. All the rest, not really. Also not with default. The players should interact not with default, not with the background, not with resources, but yes with the floor, but also not with the player itself. That's also good. And then resources should only interact with resources, not with UI though. Why would you interact with UI? That's a bit strange. But I also don't necessarily want to touch that because I don't know what that means. The resources should not interact with the player. Where are you? Oh, I already fixed that. Right. I think there's still this one that is a player. Let's see what's happening here. Man. When your scene becomes complicated, you start getting these issues. Again. You're a player. The charger zone is zone. Oh. No. Oh, but you're a device. That's fine. That's fine. Charging zone. Can get rid of that because we don't need that. Why is the triggering gone? Damn it. You have the collider, right? Yes, you do. I can see it. You are a player. You are a zone. You're also a player. Theoretically, yes. That's not the point. The point is a zone and a player should interact, and a player and a zone. Yeah. Huh. Why? This dot device module, is it a charger? It is though, like I can see it here. Oh, it's the charger itself? You can close this though. What? Oh, yeah. Are you a charger? Yes, you are. Right there. Let's see it. Do you have a zone if you start up? That's maybe important to know. You do. trigger. Alright, let's make you part of the zone. Let's see, because zones and zones should definitely interact with each other, like. Oh, yeah, I stopped interacting with the floor, obviously. Like, how is this possible? I'm gonna check this thing one more time. Zones and zones and zones and player. I'm gonna turn this on, player. Zones and floor, you can interact, it's not really a big deal. Resources and zones should interact, for sure, because they do things. They pick up resources when they're in the zone. Come on. Is there something wrong with, like... Okay, I can't interact anymore. Yeah, that's normal because now this player and player should not interact. That's the whole thing. It's all there, so that's fine. I don't understand. I wonder if I should I reload? Because I don't understand why it's not working. All my devices. Should they become player? But that's the thing, I'm not interacting with... Device doesn't have to be a player though, like it doesn't really make sense. Tag zone is a zone, yeah, fine. Okay, this is my charging zone. Still have the charging zone. Yes. This is not what I was testing. This is not supposed to be broken. I didn't touch it. Nothing is triggering. Is this connector in the way? That can't be it. Rigid body is there. Okay, I can check. I only touched debugs in this script. Let's go to the... I didn't change anything and I didn't even change anything in the power modules. Connectors are just that, they're just connectors. Is it new? Alright. Device module connector. Okay, let's see the layers collision. FF E6, that's weird. Should I reset this? I could maybe reset this physics to the matrix, but I also changed like loads of stuff, right? I could maybe look for charger. No results. Good question. I'm asking myself a question. Did I have an issue with the Z-axis here? No. Size. Man, I'm really tempted to just like save this all and revert everything. This is new stuff, so this should not be an issue. Conduits, this is all new stuff. None of this should device module. There you go. Generator connector. That's all. I just added 2 types. This is new stuff. New stuff. These are debugs, which are super important. Says a sprite, fine. Tag manager, player and zones. So basically, the only thing where something can be wrong is here. In this huge file. Where I don't see any structure. Well, I mean, obviously there's structure, but... Okay, did I change? Okay, let's find charging zone. You don't find anything? Is that not how that works? Let's go see what do we change. What changed here? Infinite power is the only thing we changed. What did I change here? Shape count. The rigid body changed. Something changed on the rigid body. I'm gonna revert this. Oh, what else changed? Composite collider. Shape count. Right, let's test this. I reverted some stuff on the rigid body and the collider. There was just a small number there, but I don't know what it means. Even if this fixes it, I wouldn't know why. So like I said, it didn't fix it, but I also wouldn't understand why, so... Wait, why did it not revert again? What the hell? Ah, God. So I'm just wondering if there's a way for me to keep testing the wires and not have to worry about that. Just check if the wire works. Let's go to the charging, no, not the charging zone, but the charger. Well, sorry, here. Your idle power draw. Let's up that. Actually, no, it's already quite high, so it's fine. What? What? This is completely wrong. Plus equals. What the hell? Damn, that's a big mistake. And that's because I let Copilot do the thing. It wasn't like... Okay, let's try this again. Maybe now at least this one should be draining when I turn the wire on into the wire. Even though the wire's not really grabbing onto anything. Basically the wire is leaky. If we turn it on. Definitely serialize this. These scripts are not correct though. Oh, but I'm not setting them anywhere. Loop over connectors if they are input at the point. There you go. So we need to do that. Like we didn't do any of that. So, and that's like how do you get that? Yeah, so it needs to be protected. So realize protected. There we go. That should work. Connector dot no, it's a public get connector type. Connector dot get connector type. How do you compare enums? How do you compare enums? Because apparently they're not just like equals equals. Well, Why not? Why can you not do it? Oh, they're not the same thing. Get connector type, get connector direction. Yeah, we need to set that as well. So, right, and going back to this one. Get connector direction. Yeah. And we need to set it, but we'll set that. Oh, come on. If the connector is an input, then it is a puller. Yes, if it's an output, it's a pusher. Good. One thing first, let's go back to the scene. We need to actually set those connections, meaning that the connector on the charger is an input. So we need to set that correctly. So it's pretty normal that nothing was working. It is an input, okay. Then the other one on the burner should be an output. There you go. Connection to power, that's fine. Okay, let's go back here. On every update, damn. That should not happen on every update though. We should be able to do that like here. Right? Yeah, they already exist, so that should be fine. Let's see. Still didn't fix the charger, but we'll see. At least, oh, something's happening though. Power pole is 265. Why is that rising? Power pole should be fairly constant. No, that's true. That's a mistake. But one thing at a time. Yeah, well, let's just quickly check if it's correct, if the wire now has all its pullers and pushers. 268, it has 2 power pullers. Which one's actually the burner? But it's considering the charger also as a puller. Sorry, it's considering this one as a puller, which it shouldn't. Was it still on when I changed that? Apparently. So this should be output, and then it should not be in that list. But it seems like it's yeah, that makes sense. So power pull should always be put back to 0 right before I do the counting, for sure. Power push, which is a bit okay. That's true. It's not really a good idea to do it like that. Total power push. And then we say push is total power push. That's always better. Let's go. Do it for me. Come on. Load. Total power pull. Yes. Go. Let's go. 2 hours and a half. Oh boy, this is taking too long. I hope to get like to some part where at least something big changed. Of course, this episode there was a lot of thinking in advance here, because right, the power pull is 0.5, so that seems to be accurate. The question is it actually being drawn? Oh, but the wire's not on. Oh, but 0.5 is just very low, I think, so it's not noticeable. Where does the 0.5 come from? It's a good question. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the charger idle. That's just the 0.5, right? So we should increase this to 5. Then every power device is gonna see. That's the thing, though. Can I add functional power draw? Is that available? Let's go to a device. Let's go to device module. Is that serializable, the functional power draw? No, because it's an object, so I can't actually. Okay. That's okay. We should make that into a class, a serializable class, then I can actually see that. We did that for resources, for example. And not work with these dictionaries anymore. We should move all dictionaries into classes, basically. But what I want to do is... Is there a module that's only present on the charger? Yeah, if the charging would work, that would actually help. Okay, so let's just do it differently. We'll go to, this is just for debugging purposes, but the power module, there we go, and we're doing serialized fields, no, a float debug power draw, and we're gonna set this to 10, and we're gonna add this everywhere it's being updated. So update power draw, get total power draw. No. Yes, so add that. So we're just gonna up it, but I can't, if I add it everywhere, then my oven will also be automatically be drawing more, so I wouldn't see the difference whether or not the wire is on, because it would be exactly the same amount of extra power draw. Right, let's press play. Oh, we're a long ways from having this work. Although on the other hand, it's also, yeah, see, the power draw is now much faster, so that's good. And theoretically, if I turn the wire on, here's the wire, we should see much more. Why is that only 0.5? So that's the question, right? Device module connector. Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna do anything. It's only gonna happen on the... Okay, I have another idea. So let's get rid of this debug power drop. This was a stupid idea anyway. It's the connector. I need to make the connector better draw. So what we can just check, like on update, if right, idle power draw, if connection type is not connector direction is input, then I want to increase the idle power draw to something really high, like 10. Does that not work? Read only? Are you kidding me? The right float idle. Why is it read only? God. Okay, so we're gonna do it the other way then. So this dot add functional power draw debug. Seriously, this should work. What are you saying? Why does that? If this might work. And actually, so now I'm just gonna mock some really high power draw from the connector itself, which should be set based on the device the connector is attached to later on. But if I can just at least make this work, then I at least know that the wire is doing its job. And then we'll... Right, so when we just get started right away, nothing should change. When I turn on the wire, the pull on the wire should... No, the pull on the wire should actually already be relatively high. I see it here, 10.5, but that's not the point. I need to see the pull when I turn on the wire. Basically means that it will actually... Yes, yes, you see how it goes faster? See, it's very slow now. When I turn it on, it goes faster. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing it. Oh, Jesus. So... Alright, let's show it here. So when I turn it on, the draw is much faster. So now the wire is turned off, so now it goes really slow. See, one down, one down. But if I turn it on to one down, one down, so I see it much. So the wire is working. It's drawing power. It's drawing it into nowhere, right? So it's just leaking. And the point, of course, is to actually the power that it is drawing is to put it in the charger, which should actually be already possible, because I should just the conduit itself, power conduit, update functional power draw. The power puller so for each power puller which in theory is just like I should be able to just add like, I mean, theoretically, yes. But it should be a negative. Where do I get my power push actually? The push is what it's drawing. Yeah, but that's weird. I need to know. It shouldn't be based on what it is currently drawing itself. Alright, let's just change this with +10. Sorry, no, -10. This should at least work, however, it's not consistent with what it needs to charge. I need to rework out the electric schemas for everything here because there's so much going on. There's power being drawn inside the machine, there's power being charging to external machines, there's power being drawn from the wires. It's getting a bit complex. On the other hand, this is about all there needs to happen. So once, like, all right, so this goes really fast, but if I turn on the wire, it should at least charge. Yeah, there you go, it works. So there's being, like, it's being charged, but not enough. So when I turn the wire off, it's gonna go even faster, you see. Why is it so fast, by the way? That's really strange. Probably because it got set by the program. Like the idle power. Yes, no, something idle power rate. Does it not show? Idle power draw. It's not serializable. Why does it drain so fast? That's what I'm wondering. Total power draw 1.6. Where from? 1.6. It pretends like it's charging something, which it is not. Alright, I'm gonna have to stop it here. Stuff is working, some stuff. It's not completely connected yet, but it's been a bit, we're already nearing 3 hours of streaming, so that's not good. And there's also still a bug with the charging, but at least let's just go over what we did do. So we created something called a wire, or in general a conduit, which will be able to transfer things. What it does, it has connection points, and you can connect it to these connector modules, and it connects to machines. And the wire itself will like has a direction. Sorry, no, the adapters have a direction, and they will draw power from the wire, and the wire will get power from the and currently that's kind of working in the sense that I can actually move power, but the amount of power is currently not exactly what it needs to be, because I just used some random numbers, and it needs to align with how fast the charger can charge itself. But there's some things I need to work out there on, like where all the ways that power is moving. Like I said, power can move from, so the power source inside the charger can move first of all to its internal workings, because that also draws power. Then it can go to, that increases when something starts charging, but then when it wants to charge itself, so Yeah, I just need to set like a rate at which a charge can charge itself, and that's what the draw rate will be. It's not what it's drawing itself, so that's what was wrong in the code. It's not its own consumption that it draws from the thing, because it needs to draw more. It wants to extra charge itself. So these are also reasons why maybe the charger module should be separate from the power storage module. I think that would simplify a lot of things, because then the charger module has its own functional draw when it's actually charging. In any case, we made progress. It's not perfect yet, but it is one of the last pieces of the puzzle, so it will require at least one other stream to close the loop in between the power generation and the power charging, and then we have a total game loop, and then after that we can go for refactoring, because it's really necessary. A lot of code has been written. The files are almost each at least 200 lines, which I think it's okay, but some of these classes really are doing way too many things under what they're supposed to. Maybe it's also a good idea to look into like implementing interfaces. I haven't done that like in an actual project, but I think that they could help in making things a little bit more simplified. In any case, thanks for following, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you and goodbye.